I'm Johnny Mac with your daily comedy news. The New Zealand Comedy Guild says Louis C.K. is not welcome in New Zealand for his upcoming New Zealand tour. I saw this the other day and it cracked me up, and I'm like, let me put it in the editorial calendar. They put out a statement. The New Zealand comedy industry stand in opposition to Louis C.K.'s past actions, his lack of contrition, and his attempts to cover up the harm he has caused. He is not welcome here. So I thought that was amusing, and then the next day I saw the New Zealand Herald. Louis C.K. has canceled his upcoming Wellington and Christchurch shows. The official reason? Scheduling conflict. Sure, Louis, scheduling conflict. What came up, Louis? Some have speculated on social media that the scheduling conflict might actually be because ticket sales are low, or perhaps he's not welcome there. Yesterday got so busy with the election and all that, I forgot to tell you, Jimmy Kimmel will host the Oscars for a third time. Good choice. I suspect the Oscars will be very well watched this year just to see if there are any Will Smith jokes. The producers are saying that they won't address it. I don't know. If you have Kimmel up there, it's kind of the elephant in the room. I suspect he'll crack some kind of joke. Jimmy said being invited to host the Oscars for a third time is either a great honor or a trap. Either way, I'm grateful to the Academy for asking me so quickly after everybody good said no. Jerry Seinfeld on Instagram said the first episode of Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee went online 10 years ago on our own website without any press or promotion, just me and Larry David having a funny conversation. We called it a web series because nobody knew what streaming television was. 10 years later, we've produced 84 episodes and we're on Netflix. It's a crazy story, and this book seems like a good way to tell it, along with some of my favorite photos and dialogue from the show. It's a book. It's the Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee book. That's out November 22nd. Hashtag 6 seasons in a movie. Is Donald Glover going to be in the Community movie? Variety spoke with Dan Harmon, who said, for lack of a better word, there was a ball fumbled. Glover is down to clown. Man, I wouldn't want to think about making the Community movie without Donald. Hooray. Why did they pick Peacock as opposed to, say, Amazon? Harmon said, is it smart as a creative to go with the place you think is more solvent? That's not how a creative should think. You're supposed to go with your passion, and ultimately that's what we did. We can't control the marketplace. We can't control Peacock's future, so we ignore that, pretend that all things are equal, and go with the thing that makes emotional sense. Boy, he doesn't sound too confident in Peacock, does he? I know I'm planning on getting Peacock watching the Community movie and then immediately canceling, aren't you? Harmon remarked how fortunate he's been throughout his career to not have to worry much about the financial side of things, despite how large of a franchise something like Rick and Morty has become with merch. Dan said Justin Roiland, co-creator of Rick and Morty, was very meticulous about that stuff, which combined with Adult Swim being very passionate about marketing, I'm very fortunate that I never had to pay attention to all the licensing and marketing. I never had to put a finger on the scale, so I just marvel at it. They're making a Garfield movie for some reason. I don't know why. Chris Pratt stars as Garfield. Samuel L. Jackson is in this thing. And now Brett Goldstein from Ted Lasso and Bowen Yang have joined the cast of the Garfield movie. So it's a really good cast. Also, Hannah Waddingham. She's also from Ted Lasso. And Cecily Strong and Ving Rhames. Who knows? Bill Maher is excited to be performing in New York City as part of the New York Comedy Festival. Bill told the New York Daily News, it means everything to me. I wouldn't be in the business. I cut my teeth not just at Caroline's, but at Catch a Rising Star and what he called the granddaddy of them all, the Improv on West 44th, which closed in 1992. Bill Maher said, I wouldn't be who I am or where I am if I didn't spend every waking hour in 79, 80, 81, and 82 in those clubs. We would do 6 sets a night in those clubs. We wanted to get good. This interview took place right before the midterms, and Bill got a little political, and he said, I even like an audience that has conservatives in it as well. I'm always preaching that we have to talk to each other. You can't write off half the company as deplorable. What's going to happen when we wake up after the midterms is we're going to find a completely different political scoreboard where the majority of people who are Republicans in our Congress don't believe Biden was elected legitimately, and a lot of the people whose job it is to count the votes in the next election are Trump loyalists who will go along with his coup next time. Either way, it's going to be a crap show whether he wins or loses, and he definitely will run. Hasan Minhaj has apologized to the fans of Jeopardy. I love this story so much. He said, to the fans of Jeopardy, I want to take this moment to apologize. I'm sorry I desecrated an American institution. I'm sorry I ripped your 7 p.m. linear TV pacifier out of your geriatric mouth. And most importantly, I'm sorry for trying to make Jeopardy fun. When you're playing Jeopardy at home and you're sweats and you're confident, you're playing with the shampoo or the remote, you think you're the best, but you don't know what that game does to you in the arena. He also claimed his buzzer was, quote, janky. He said, Jeopardy is like American elections. There's no second or third place, so it incentivizes bad behavior. If you're second or third, you got to give all the other contestants the smoke. I'm sorry, I got to kamikaze mission you. I need to go to a place where the unhinged are accepted, where the eccentric are allowed, where cocaine consumption is encouraged. This is why next summer, I, Hasan Minhaj, will be taking my talents to The Price is Right. So you know how I come on here and I'm like, hey, buymeacoffee.com/dailycomedy-news. I'll take your $5 and I'll go to the National Donuts chain. You know that whole thing I mentioned like 3 times a week? The National Donuts chain has changed their rewards program. And this is a thing on the internet. You can Google it. People are ranting about it. And I wasn't paying much attention to it until the other day when I was like, I must have some free rewards by now. And I didn't have any. They have some sort of point system now. And it was like, hey, do you want some hash browns? No, I want a free large iced coffee with caramel and milk like I used to get till you nerf the system. So I'm kind of mad at the National Donuts chain. So if you want to support the show, today's Wednesday. It's trivia night. Don't buy me a coffee. Just go to buymeacoffee.com/dailycomedynews and buy me 5/7 of a beer. Throw $5 in the tip jar at buymeacoffee.com/dailycomedynews, and I'll go to the brewery and I'll get myself a beer, which costs like $7.50. I don't even know what it costs, but it's more than 5. But I'll take your 5 and I'll put it towards the beer, and I will thank you on the show. Buymeacoffee.com/dailycomedynews. And National Donuts chain, man, fix the reward system. You know what? Don't even have a reward system. I'd rather you give me nothing than tell me after a month that I could have $2 off a large beverage. Stop. Let's use it at the New York Comedy Festival tonight. Jenny Slate's at Town Hall. The Cellar Chronicles. Where's that? No, it's not at the Cellar. It's at the Fat Black Pussycat. Juby, a variety show done by just one guy at the Brooklyn Comedy Collective. Thoughts and Prayers at the Stonewall. Sam Morrison's Sugar Daddy at Chelsea. Drip at the Stand. Sorry for Your Loss with Michael Cruz is at Fotografiska. Stradio Lab at the Bell House. Babe Motel, Even Greater Hits. An Evening with Pepper Sled at the City Vineyard. Kiki Funny Mama's Night Out at St. Mark's Comedy Club. A Question Party at Common Ground. Exquisite Lies at the Jane Hotel Ballroom. The Roast of New York City at the Littlefield. Exploration Live presents Oops All Riffing at Club Cumming. The Stand has Would You Bang Him with Rich Voss and Bonnie McFarland. The Brooklyn Comedy Club presents Napoleon, Emile, and Homies Showcase. Rule of Thirds has Little Fish Comedy. Tiny Cupboard has Leclerc Andre Does an Hour. Brooklyn Comedy Collective has Laying It Down with Carolyn and Chalua. The Stand has 23 and 1. The Q has Juicy. Lucky Jacks has Giggle Dome. I'm getting old. I haven't heard of half these venues. Dynasty Typewriters at Chelsea. Arthur Avenue Comedy is at Clinton Hall. Doctors Without Boundaries at Caveat. New York City Late Night Comedy All-Stars at Gotham. Cancel Culture Live at Asylum. Jess Tom Less Lonely at the Bell House. Joe Castle Baker Something to Think About at Union Hall. Zach Zimmerman's We Need to Talk, a crowdwork show at Club Cumming. Brooklyn Comedy presents The Dirty Show. Dinner for One It Hurts Now at Asylum. So no big headliners tonight. Kind of surprising. I'm looking ahead to tomorrow and we'll start having names like Jimmy O. Yang and Conan O'Brien there. So what should we go see tonight? I don't know. Want to do Zach Zimmerman's crowdwork show and maybe get some sleep and rest up for a busy few days? Let's do that. From Fatherly, 31 Easter eggs and deep cut references from Weird, the Al Yankovic story. Have you watched Weird yet? Stop listening to the podcast and go watch Weird and then come back and listen to me tell you about the Easter eggs. Are you back? Good. The surgeon in the film. Did you notice? Lin-Manuel Miranda. Yes. I won't read all 31 of these. The polka party the teenagers went to. That is making fun of Weird Al's 1986 album, Polka Party. The cop who brings Weird Al home to his parents from the polka party is Scott Aukerman. The people that play Al's roommates turned band, it's his real-life band, Steve J., Jim and Kimmo West, and John Bermuda Schwartz. When Al tears off a ticket for band auditions, you'll see a flyer for Cooney's Karate School. That school is featured in Al's movie UHF. One of the punks who rejects Al's audition is played by Jonah Ray. Jonah Ray had released an EP of his own punk versions of Weird Al covers called You Can't Call Me Al. When Al makes the bologna sandwich that inspires My Bologna, you can see some Captain Crunch and Raisin Bran in the background foreshadowing their appearance in Eat It. This is from Fatherly. Great job, Fatherly. The heckler at the club is played by Patton Oswalt. Patton Oswalt played Dr. Demento in the original Funny or Die sketch that inspired this whole thing, and Patton was supposed to play Demento in this film, but he broke his foot, so I was glad to see him in there. Now, officially on the IMDb, Patton Oswalt's character is called Heckler. I jumped on Google, and on Google, Patton Oswalt's character is named William Shatner. I tweeted at Patton to find out what the deal is. Patton has not gotten back to me yet. And the man with the crazy hair that scowls at Al while he performs Amish Paradise, That's actually Coolio, who passed away recently, but good to see Coolio in the film. And Seth Rogen is claiming to really be WWE wrestler Kane. Seth Rogen recently came across an image of the former WWE champion on Twitter and joked that he's the man behind the iconic red mask. Seth tweeted, "Damn, my secret's been revealed." Then from the Kane account, Kane, who as we all know is really Seth Rogen, wrote, "Now you know why you never see Seth Rogen and Kane in the same room at the same time." Makes sense to me. And that's your comedy news for today. Follow the show for free on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. There's an audio-only version on YouTube, and I'll see you tomorrow.